So I've been looking at Mark again. I've just been going back and looking at the question marks that I had. And I had a question mark over Mark 5:9, which says, and this is this man that was demon possessed by many demons, and Jesus cast the demons out of him and sent them to a pit, into a herd of pigs. So the verse says this, and then he asked him, "What is thy name?" And he answered, saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many." So the demon that was inside this man was called Legion because there was many demons in them. Now what's interesting is that the word Legion, I've only just found this out, the word Legion relates to the Roman band of soldiers. So like in that time, obviously Jerusalem was held by Romans, and they would have known that the word Legion is a Roman regiment. Now a Roman regiment is roughly about 6,000 men. So in this one individual, we're talking about a huge, powerful force of demons that may be about 6,000, if not more, if not less. But the point is that it just goes to show that one person can have many demons inside them. And demons, when they're inside people, they amplify the works of the flesh to the point that, someone can be completely possessed by them, and they can do like demonic, fleshful, rebellious things against, the holiness of God and who He is. I can't quite remember what it said about the state of this demon, but it says here in verse 3, "He had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him. And always night and day he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones." So he was in a real bad way. And we can identify with someone. I don't think you need the gift of discernment of spirits to know if someone's like demonic, possessed by several demons, because that works of the flesh will be completely amplified and before your face. But what's interesting is that Jesus casts out all of the demons from this individual, and it says that in verse 12 that all the devils brought him, saying, "Send us into the swine, that we may enter them." And Jesus allowed them. It says in verse 13, "And forthwith Jesus gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. There were about 2,000, and were choked in the sea." Now what's interesting there is that there was 2,000 pigs, and all of the demons left this individual, so he was freed. And it's the verses say that he was in his right mind. He was able to talk, he was clothed, and he was just like a normal kind of guy. He'd got his own ability to control his body all of a sudden. And all these demons, these legions of demons, which could be up to like 6,000, if it's comparable to a Roman regiment, went into these 2,000 pigs. So that tells me that demonic forces can probably take over animals as well. And all of those pigs ran down this sort of like mountainside into this watery kind of tomb abyss. And it's kind of, to me, that's kind of like a reflection of what's going to happen to the demons in the future. When we read the end of the book, we find that they're placed into the lake of fire with those that aren't on God's side, which was actually prepared for the demons. So it's a kind of prelude to what's going to happen to them. Now the the town folk, the Gentiles, came up and found this guy in his right mind, and they all knew him. They knew he was completely bonkers. They were trying to tie him up, but he kept on breaking the chains. But what's interesting is that they tried to make Jesus leave that area because the herd of pigs. Now, you need to understand that there was 2,000 herds of pigs, and I did a quick Google to find out how much it costs to raise a pig to slaughter weight, and I can't remember what it is in US dollars, but I converted it to pounds, and it's 470 quid per pig today. Well, there's 2,000 pigs there, and 2,000 times 470 quid is roughly about £1 million. So you can kind of understand the farmers were like, you've just killed us. You've killed our business. We've just lost £1 million. All of our food, our livelihood is just gone for this one individual who's now in his right mind. Now, I think somewhere in the Bible, Jesus says to a crowd of people, he says, "What will a man give for his soul?" And he calls us to lay down our lives, doesn't it? You have to give yourself to God. But here we can see that in order for that guy to be delivered, the financial cost was quite large. It was 1 million. And although God, has no interest in money, that's kind of like man's invention. He's not interested in gold. He can just create as much gold as he likes. But what's interesting is that for demonic deliverance, it had a high financial price, and I think it kind of gives us an understanding of how God it tells them what the value is of being set free from demonic forces. Anyone who's set free from demonic forces is completely blessed. The cost is so high, that gift is so high to be freed from demons and to become a free moral agent again. And I've seen people that have been demonic possessed, and I've seen one person completely delivered from that. So they were blessed, and the financial cost of that is worth at least £1 million. Right, that's how much God values humanity, the freedom of them from demonic forces. And no doubt salvation is a high price that we can't understand, because God's Son died to pay off all of our sin, and there is no value for that. That's an infinite value. Okay, God bless. Sorry I ranted. Thanks very much for listening.